Didn't you have the weapons in your room with you when they found you?
Just the gun.
So you weren't trying to get away with it?
The gun was to be given to somebody to clean and hide.
Who are you going to give it to?
I can't tell you that. Enough people's lives have been ruined.
You've told Terry that. So someone else knew this was going to happen?
And his name has never been mentioned anywhere.
A 16-year-old pastor's daughter sings in the church choir. Within months, her entire family is brutally murdered. What happened to Erin Caffey? Erin Caffey's voice often moved the congregation to tears as she sang in her church choir. With her angelic appearance and sweet demeanor, she seemed the picture of innocence. But beneath this facade lurked a darkness that would soon erupt into unimaginable violence. In a small Texas town, Erin lived with her parents, Terry and Penny Caffey, and her 2 younger brothers. Her life appeared idyllic until she met Charlie Wilkinson, a boy who would change everything. As their relationship intensified, so did the tension between Erin and her parents. What followed was a night of horror that shocked the community and left a father fighting for his life. How could a pastor's daughter orchestrate such a heinous crime? The answer would reveal a chilling transformation that no one saw coming. A perfect family facade begins to crack. The Caffey family seemed to embody the ideal of a wholesome Christian lifestyle. Terry Caffey, a pastor, led his family with strong faith and values. His wife, Penny, homeschooled their children, instilling in them a love for scripture and service. Erin, their only daughter, was deeply involved in church activities, singing in the choir and participating in youth group events. To outsiders, the Caffeys appeared to be a picture-perfect family, but appearances can be deceiving. The first cracks in this facade appeared when Erin met Charlie Wilkinson, an 18-year-old high school dropout. Their relationship quickly intensified, causing concern for Erin's parents. Terry Caffey recalled his first impression of Charlie, noting a red flag during their initial meeting. "When I greeted him, his response was rude," Terry said, indicating Charlie's antisocial tendencies. As Erin's relationship with Charlie deepened, her parents noticed alarming changes in her behavior. The once outgoing and friendly teenager became increasingly secretive and isolated. She withdrew from family activities and seemed to lose interest in her church involvement. Erin's world began to revolve solely around Charlie, a typical adolescent behavior that took on a disturbing intensity in this case. Concerned about their daughter's sudden transformation, Terry and Penny attempted to set boundaries. They enforced rules, such as requiring Charlie to leave by 9 p.m. on school nights. However, these efforts only fueled Erin's rebellion. The tension between Erin and her parents escalated as she pushed back against their authority, determined to maintain her relationship with Charlie at any cost. Erin's obsession with Charlie led to a complete breakdown in her relationship with her family. She became closed off to everyone except him, refusing to engage with her parents or brothers. This isolation further deepened the rift between Erin and her family, creating an environment of constant conflict and mistrust. As the situation worsened, Terry and Penny made a difficult decision. They forbade Erin from seeing Charlie altogether, hoping to break the unhealthy cycle they saw developing. Little did they know that this ultimatum would set in motion a series of events that would lead to unimaginable tragedy. Behind closed doors, Erin's behavior took an even darker turn. She began to express resentment towards her family's rules and lifestyle. Her thoughts turned to escape, but not in the typical teenage fashion of running away or rebellion. Instead, Erin's mind wandered to much more sinister possibilities. The chilling premeditation. Erin Caffey's descent into darkness began long before the fateful night of the murders. Investigators later discovered that this wasn't her first attempt to have her family killed. Months earlier, Erin had tried to convince a previous boyfriend to carry out the deadly deed. This revelation shocked those who knew her, exposing a calculated and manipulative side to the seemingly innocent teenager. As tensions with her parents reached a boiling point, Erin's relationship with Charlie Wilkinson took a sinister turn. The couple met in a cemetery to finalize their murderous plans, a setting that perfectly encapsulated the macabre nature of their intentions. Under the shadow of tombstones, they discussed the details of how they would end the lives of Erin's family members. During these disturbing conversations, Erin displayed a chilling lack of empathy. She expressed her desire for not only her parents to be killed, but also her younger brothers. According to reports, she described her siblings as annoying and complained that they picked on her. This cold-blooded attitude towards her own flesh and blood stunned investigators and psychologists alike. Erin's manipulation of Charlie was evident throughout the planning phase. She played on his emotions and desires, convincing him that killing her family was the only way they could be together. Charlie, infatuated and easily influenced, agreed to carry out the heinous act. Their discussions involved detailed plans and a clear division of roles, indicating a high level of premeditation. The lack of moral consideration during these planning sessions was particularly disturbing. Erin and Charlie spoke about the impending murders as if they were discussing mundane, everyday tasks. They showed no remorse or hesitation, further emphasizing their psychopathic tendencies. This cold detachment would later shock even hardened law enforcement officials. As the night of the planned attack approached, Erin's excitement grew. Charlie later reported that she was as happy as a kid on Christmas when they returned to the car after the murders. This disturbing comparison highlighted the severity of Erin's psychological state and her complete disconnection from the gravity of her actions. The level of violence they planned was extreme. They discussed using both firearms and swords, a combination that would later prove devastating. Charlie, despite his willingness to participate, seemed to struggle with the emotional weight of their plans. In a later interrogation, he stated, "I shot the mom and the dad, but I did not shoot the kids." This admission revealed the complex layers of guilt and responsibility that would haunt the perpetrators. A night of unimaginable horror. The night of March 1st, 2008 began like any other for the Caffey family. Terry and Penny Caffey were asleep in their bedroom, while their sons, Matthew and Tyler, rested in their rooms. Erin was supposedly staying at a friend's house. The peaceful silence of their rural Texas home was about to be shattered in the most horrific way imaginable. Around 2 a.m., Terry Caffey was jolted awake by the sound of gunshots. Before he could fully process what was happening, he felt a searing pain in his shoulder. Charlie Wilkinson and his accomplice, Charles Wade, had burst into the bedroom, opening fire on Terry and Penny as they lay in bed. Terry, in a state of shock and disbelief, recognized Charlie as the assailant. The personal betrayal added another layer of horror to the unfolding nightmare. As Terry described later, the scene was straight out of a horror movie. The attackers' brutality knew no bounds. After shooting Terry multiple times, they turned their attention to Penny. In a gruesome act, Charlie nearly decapitated her with a sword, showcasing the extreme violence of the crime. The rampage continued as Charlie and Wade moved through the house. They found 13-year-old Matthew in his room and shot him in the face. 8-year-old Tyler, terrified by the commotion, had hidden in a closet.
I heard my son Matthew cry out. He said, Charlie, why are you doing this? No, Charlie, no, please, why are you doing this? And then I'm trying to get up. And then all of a sudden, bam, bam, I heard the gunshots. I realized Matthew's being shot.
The killers discovered him and, in a final act of savagery, stabbed him to death with swords. Believing their work was done, Charlie and Wade set the house on fire to cover their tracks. They left Terry for dead, assuming the flames would finish what the bullets had started. But Terry Caffey wasn't ready to die. Despite being shot 5 times, including a bullet to the back of his head, Terry found the strength to fight for survival. He crawled through the burning house, his body racked with pain, driven by an inexplicable will to live.
So I managed to get to my feet. I'm trying to get out the bedroom door to get upstairs to my children. But by this time, the house is totally engulfed. I'm hit by a wall of flames, forced back into my bedroom, and there's Penny laying there. And when I saw her, I immediately knew she was gone, because not only did they come in and shoot, that he also came in with this 𝗧𝗿𝗂𝗖𝗿𝗄𝗵 type sword, and she would nearly be decapitated.
In what can only be described as miraculous, Terry managed to drag himself out of the inferno and across 300 yards of rocky terrain to reach his nearest neighbor's house.
And I guess it's just the shock that I'm in, because I'm thinking, if I could just get to my neighbors, somehow we can fix this. We can get them out, everything's gonna be okay. And I'm not thinking rational, I've just gotta get help, gotta get them out. Then my thoughts went to, if I die here, I may not be able to tell who did this.
Barely clinging to life, he pounded on their door, leaving bloody handprints as evidence of his desperate struggle. The neighbor, shocked by the sight of the gravely wounded man, immediately called 911. "I've got a man here at my house that's been shot," the neighbor reported, adding that there was also a house on fire. This call set in motion a rapid response from emergency services. When police arrived at the crime scene, they found a situation far darker than initially reported. It wasn't just a random break-in gone wrong. It was a premeditated attack by someone known to the family. The brutality of the murders shocked even seasoned law enforcement officers. The investigation quickly led to the capture of Charlie and Wade. They were found at Matthew Wade's trailer, where incriminating evidence like blood splatters and Erin's driver's license linked them to the crime. Charlie initially denied involvement, claiming he had been drunk and asleep, but the evidence told a different story. Erin, when confronted, claimed she had been drugged and couldn't remember anything. However, toxicology reports showed no drugs in her system, exposing her lies and implicating her in the horrific plot. The aftermath: justice and unanswered questions. The aftermath of the Caffey family murders brought swift justice. Erin Caffey received 2 consecutive life sentences, plus 25 years for her role in the killings. Charlie Wilkinson and Charles Wade were sentenced to life without parole, while their accomplice, Bobby Johnson, got 40 years. Terry Caffey, the sole survivor, faced an impossible struggle. He continued to visit Erin in prison, torn between his love for his daughter and the horror of her actions. "I fight for her early release," Terry said, still unable to fully comprehend Erin's involvement. In time, Terry found a path forward. He remarried, adopted 3 children, and founded a forgiveness project to cope with his trauma. He even wrote a book, Terror by Night, detailing his journey. The case left many questioning how someone so young, raised in a loving home, could orchestrate such evil. It serves as a chilling reminder that darkness can lurk in the most unexpected places.